Check it out now.
Okay, we're live, ready to go. October 22nd, 2025, pardon me. Off to a raring start. It's the Beating the Book podcast, MegaPod, Week 8 in the National Football League. Gill Alexander, thanks for listening. I will retweet this on Twitter because I think we're live streaming. Are we live streaming on Twitter? I think we are. We'll get that going. As always, pillars of the show from his mom's cork attic in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Looking good. Todd Wishnev, everybody, star of the Showtime docuseries Action. Todd, how are you, sir?
It's good to see you. In honor of our guest today, I do a little thing called going back through the years. I am what I called a football modeler OA. I went back to the 1926 season of Red Grange, and I found that Aaron Schatz is the #1 prognosticator since 1926. Now, that is some research that I did. So give me some, props there for FMOA, Football Modeler OA, Aaron Schatz, #1, 1926.
Aaron, pay no attention to what this man says.
What do you mean? I'm giving the guy props for being the greatest football.
99 years. We're almost at 100. Almost at 100.
Almost at 100. And then before we get to Aaron, Will Hill. Not from his mom's cork attic, at not the Will Hill on Twitter. Todd is at T Wishnev. Will is the host of the Shoulda Bet More podcast. Willie was at it.
Boys, what's going on?
Little Aaron Schatz on the show today. That's what's going on. Aaron joins us once again on the MegaPod, and because it is the 15th year of the MegaPod. I've been doing a podcast, Aaron, for 15 years. 15th year of the Beating the Book podcast. Aaron has come on this podcast almost since the beginning, when I was a little pisher. So I will always be appreciative to Aaron. Aaron is the creator of DVOA, his proprietary football stat, which analyzes football on a granular level, play-by-play. But he's been coming on the MegaPod, and in the 15, before you say hello, Aaron, the MegaPod's 15th year anniversary, the MegaPod historian, Tim Lawson, has come up with some historical facts. He said Aaron Schatz made his official NFL MegaPod debut week 15 of the 2020 season when he famously said, quote, "I'm just trying to get used to the rhythm of this podcast." I think that was a direct shot at you, Todd, I believe is what it was. In response to the banter between Mike Palm and Todd Wishnev, Aaron has been tethered to the MegaPod since 2011. No, to the Beating the Book podcast since 2011, when he and Gill would do a segment preceding the MegaPod panel during the postseason. Oh, yeah, that's true. We would put me and Aaron on one-on-one before the MegaPod. That tradition spanned from 2011 to 2019. And on Aaron's debut MegaPod episode in 2020, a listener who was recovering from an injury and depended on podcasts to entertain him sent in an email asking, "Please don't allow Todd to fuck up the MegaPod today. My health depends on it." The DVO creator looking to make up for lost ground as he comes into today's episode, 5-7 on best bets, 2-2 on teasers. That's your record on the MegaPod. Aaron Schatz, everybody, for God's sakes. How you doing, Aaron?
And of course, I picked the hardest week of the year with the most buys.
That's right, with the most buys.
So the fewest games to choose from. Yeah.
Fewest games to choose from. Everybody hearing Aaron okay, by the way? Aaron loud enough for everybody? Okay. Only me who's got him solved, but I can hear him. Okay. Aaron, thank you for doing this, and I do mean it sincerely. I will tell you this here on the show. I am so grateful for you coming on this show for so many years, and also on the radio side. We do quarterly.
Oh, my God. We have a hard out, for God's sakes.
You're right. That's true.
I appreciate you, too. I appreciate being appreciated.
I appreciate being appreciated. And one last thing, most famously, we were at dinner, me, Matt Brown, Kelly Bidlin, with Aaron Schatz the night that the AP MVP was announced. The MVP for the NFL was announced two MVPs ago when Lamar Jackson was unanimous -1. And that one was, Aaron?
Me.
Yes. We lost Aaron for about 5 minutes because he was processing.
What do you mean unanimous?
I was the only
Aaron Schatz is the only guy who voted against him? Is that what you're saying?
I was the only person who voted for somebody else for MVP in 2023.
Who'd you vote for?
Josh Allen.
But the good thing about Twitter and football fans in general, everyone's just so reasonable and just gave Aaron his
that's right.
no grief whatsoever.
Well, the reason, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron, the reason you went kind of silent, we felt for Aaron, is because you kind of knew it was coming, right?
I knew that I didn't think I was going to be the only one because there'd been a couple of people who voted for like Dak Prescott for the All-Pro team. And I figured that meant they probably voted for Dak Prescott MVP. So I knew I'd be a holdout, but I didn't think I would be the only holdout. So when I found out I was the only holdout, that was kind of a shock.
Yeah. You know,
Stephen A. Smith called him a Buffalo Bills homer, I believe.
Yes.
Something along those
Stephen
lines.
A. Smith has no idea who I am.
And by the way, that was one of the
the farthest thing possible from a guy who goes into the Bills locker room. Like I'm not looking for Josh Allen to like me.
Yeah. Aaron's a Patriots fan, by the way, so he's definitely not a Bills fan. And that was not the meanest thing said about Aaron. And let me just say this, though, in conclusion. Lamar Jackson was very nice about it, right? Himself.
I don't remember him saying anything negative about me. He
didn't say anything.
He was asked about being unanimous. He was like, I'm just happy I won the award, and everything was good.
Yep.
And then what's the last year, Josh Allen won, and I was one of the people who voted for Lamar instead.
There you go.
I mean, it's
and
not
you were a
like
Ravens homer last year.
That's right. He was a Ravens homer last year. Jeez, Aaron. Yeah.
By the way, it's not like he voted for Kenny Pickett. He voted for Josh Allen. My God. It's like they had that much of a problem with Josh Allen.
2023 was not a year that anybody really distinguished themselves. Nobody was a really standout MVP candidate that year. So,
yeah.
Gilly, that was the year we had. I think you had it too. I had Purdy 22-1 MVP, and he was odds on the final couple weeks, and he threw up all over himself on that Christmas game. Yes. And like Aaron said, there was nobody that was like a legitimate standout candidate. I think Lamar stayed under his passing touchdown prop that year. It was kind of just win it by default that year. It was a very strange year.
Yeah.
To me, it was more amazing that Lamar didn't win it last year because Lamar rewrote the record books.
It's amazing to me because I just don't understand the logic behind making one player your first team All-Pro and another player your MVP.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're the most valuable player, you're the best quarterback. You're the first team All-Pro.
And people should know Aaron is, for your context, Aaron is one of 50 people who vote on all the NFL awards through the Associated Press. So he is a guy that has opinions on this. We might be a little too early in the season. What would be your most interesting awards take right now, 7 weeks through the season?
How hard it is going to be.
How
hard it's going to be to figure out how much Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. Because right now, statistically, the best player in the league this year has been Daniel Jones. And that sounds ridiculous. But when you try to compare him to like Matthew Stafford has better top two receivers. But Daniel Jones has a better offensive line and a better running game. And it's really hard to figure out just where you should put Daniel Jones on your ballot. That's the hard thing.
Yeah.
And a great offensive coordinator, and Jim Bob Cooter, I say, is somebody who's completely unbiased. Just a great offensive coordinator. Maybe the
offensive coordinators. They're both in really good systems.
I'm not sure why you had to bring up his Cooter, but the offensive line is really the story in Indianapolis. I feel like you really can, and it just shows how in the National Football League, if your offensive line is great, all of a sudden it just enhances the quarterback to such a tremendous level. And, that's what we're seeing, I think.
And it's also one of the reasons why I have such a hard time with the idea of a running back as MVP, because so much of a running back's production is actually his offensive line. And no disrespect to Jonathan Taylor, but that's clearly the case in Indianapolis.
Interesting.
The Shanahan rule. That's the Shanahan rule. Remember, Shanahan said running backs are interchangeable, and it's so true. You could put Jalen
Warren kick butt.
Yeah.
It's a yearly thing, too. Last year was Barkley. 2 years ago, it's McCaffrey. Every time this time of year, maybe it's a little later. Remember Barkley had that big game against the Rams. Can Barkley actually win MVP? The answer is almost always no. Peterson was the last one in 2012. It's a quarterback award. So I feel like that's just more content than anything. People trying to make a case for these running backs at MVP.
Yeah, it's just how the game is structured. The quarterbacks are the most important players. Like one defensive player will never be as important as the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks. And just ask Myles Garrett about that, because Myles Garrett is freaking awesome. And the Cleveland defense was bad last year.
And Aaron is, again, this doesn't say anything about the other 49 bettors, but Aaron believes that offensive player of the year, right?
You said the other 49 bettors. You mean
the other 49 voters.
Voters.
It's not a rule, but offensive player of the year I treat as the non-quarterback award. Yes.
There you go, for the other 49 voters.
I don't believe in voting for the second best quarterback. It's not an award for the second best quarterback.
Yeah, and no quarterback, pardon me, has won Offensive Player of the Year since 2018 when Patrick Mahomes won it. So maybe, just maybe, many of those other 49 voters feel the same way that Aaron does. We don't know. Okay, Todd, to the records, sir.
Well, the records, Gilly is making an insurmountable lead a little more surmountable with a very solid 2-1 last week. We got to give him his props. Very nice job. He moves to 10-11. He lost his teaser, and he is now 2-5 on teasers. We are struggling this year on teasers. Willie's the only guy who's doing decently on teasers. Willie is now at 5-16 after a 1-2. I went 1-2 as well to move to 11-9-1 and still have a 2-game lead in the loss column at 11-9-1. I lost my teaser to go to 1-6 on teasers. Willie's 4-3 on teasers, and the guest went 1-2. That was Wes Reynolds to move the guest chair to 10-11. The teaser lost as well. It's 3-4. So hopefully Aaron Schatz can knock out some winners to put the guest chair moving ahead.
What was my teaser last week, Toddy?
I believe your teaser was the Falcons Jets plus 7.5, Miami plus 8.5, and the New York Jets did it, but the Miami Dolphins did not do it.
That was a tough one.
Yeah. Do we have a Dumbo of the week this week? Any of the coaches?
I just want to say the guy kicking off in the freaking Seattle-Houston game.
I agree.
Is just moronic. Yeah. I mean, give me a break. You have one timeout left. There's about 2:03 to go in the game. 2:04. The only thing you cannot do. I mean, a lot of us were arguing on the text thread to onside kick. I kind of like the onside kick. Gilly liked the kickoff. But even if you like the kickoff, the one thing you cannot have happen is allowing them to run the kickoff back so that the 2-minute warning happens. And now you only have one timeout, which means you're going to get the ball back with almost no time. I mean, these are just basic math problems, and people making $2 million, $4 million, $10 million a year cannot do them. It just defies imagination. I can't believe it.
Yeah,
I like to nominate Aaron Glenn. I didn't watch any of the Jets-Panthers game, but I'm sure he did something.
Yeah, I'll tell you what he did. He walked out of the tunnel.
He walked out of the tunnel. No, Todd is talking about the Houston Texans, obviously, against the Seahawks the other night. It was just it's like, if you're a Texans fan and you're watching that, forget betting. You're just like, really? That's what we did? Like, now what are we doing?
Especially if you're watching the East Coast, like 1:30 in the morning on a Monday night / Tuesday morning. I stayed up for 4 hours to watch this guy not onside kick. I got to wake up in like 5 or 6 hours. Just crazy.
That game was endless, by the way. Endless.
Yeah, it was.
With the penalties.
Well, when Seattle got the call down from the National Football League and said, people are turning the TVs off. Would you mind throwing the ball so we can keep Houston in this game?
Yeah. By the way, let me just say this as we move on, too, because I mentioned this on a numbers game. But because someone was giving Fezzik shit, 1-5 and all this stuff. And it's like, I just want to say this about like the small sample size of the National Football League with pre-flop ATS records. Fezzik was wildly successful for years and years and years until this year. And he's having a terrible year, right? But the same people out there who give him crap are the same people who always say, oh yeah, short-term records don't matter. But they're not able to physically stop themselves from talking about that. They contradict their own selves. So to me, that sounds like, as I said on a numbers game this morning, it sounds more like a you problem than it is a me problem on that stuff.
People will say short-term records don't matter in week 16 and 17. The problem is early in the season, even more than now, like a month ago, all we had was short-term records. So people pretend like that means so much more.
That's right.
That 3 weeks at the start of the season means so much more than 3 weeks at the end of the season.
It's and we all had bad weeks to start the season. I mean, I was 0-3 here on the MegaPod and still trying to make up for that. And then I brought up, and so people were like, Will has struggled on the MegaPod this year with a bad record, but like we know, we live basically with Will every day on our group exchange. We're always in-game betting. If you think a small sample size NFL record is always reflective of your betting acumen, this just did. It is not.
Well, we knew when you went 35-18, we all knew exactly. Gilly's not that smart.
Exactly.
Come on. No, 35-18, it's a joke.
Todd, I'm glad you brought that up, because when you're 35-18, people are like, oh my God, you're incredible. I promise you, I am no smarter then than I am now. And the truth always lies somewhere in between. So I just want to like contextualize this for some folks. The fact that Todd and I are still trying to like beat each other for this and have like okay records at this point. We hope to end up with good records. I think that's just probably more impressive than many people who are complaining about Fezzik or others. So I just want to.
Willie's not out of it yet. All he has to do is go on.
Oh, he's not.
Run here.
There's a long season to go. That's for sure.
And I've seen this guy go on a run at Yankee Stadium at the concession stands. The guy can go on a run.
Yes, he can. Todd, any in-game real quick before we get to the best bets?
Yeah, real quick. I've been doing very well on these fourth quarter bets where you have a team getting absolutely blown out in the National Football League, and you can either take them in the fourth quarter, you can take them plus 27 or some crazy number to score in the fourth quarter. A lot of places have, and it's been going very, very well this year. A lot of these teams that have been getting blown out have been scoring in the fourth quarter. And I did it with the Raiders on Sunday thinking, okay, they're going to be down $1 billion, which they were. And I thought, oh, come on, the Chiefs will let them have something at the end. Well, it didn't happen. So it doesn't always happen. And I think sometimes you have to just be careful with that you have a team that at least could move the ball a little bit. So that was one quick thing. And then the other quick thing is the Jets were down 13-3. The line was 6.5 and Tyrod Taylor was coming in. So I wanted to take the Jets. The line was 6.5. Now at the Rivers kiosk, if I would have gotten up, and I didn't because my hip was killing me, I said, you know what, I'll just take the 6.5 minus 115. But if I would have gone to the kiosk, I could have probably paid up plus 7 minus 140 or something like that. And I've been telling you guys all year, pay up for certain numbers. And that was definitely a number to pay up for. But my hip hurt. So I talked myself into Tyrod Taylor getting me a touchdown instead of a field goal. And of course, I got burned because they came down, got the field goal, and lost by 7. So it just shows it's another time where when you know something and you know to pay up for something, go pay up for it because it's gonna happen. The difference between a team getting a touchdown down 10 and just getting the field goal down 10 is huge, especially when you're in New York Jets.
I'll throw in one too, Toddy. It's I think the best bets of the ones we make. If we were just go back and track the most successful, like highest hit rate, these quarterback over attempts, when you've got a decent offense and either they're down double digits or you sense they're going to be down double digits very soon, it's rarely wrong to play the quarterback over attempts. You could tell right away Detroit was going to be in control against Tampa. Baker Mayfield, we bet over 34.5 attempts. You bet, I think 37.5. He got near 50. Stroud, same thing, got near 50. Herbert ended up throwing it every single down. We do well on those. I think that's the formula. Decent offense, decent quarterback, down double digits. They're just, you know, the script. I don't think the market really accounts for that properly. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
As long as you have a quarterback who can move the chains. The Raiders quarterback couldn't, but.
And the point you made last week, Will, I still think is the biggest point of this year's NFL season, which is the way that these kickers on kickoffs can't seem to figure out the landing zone. Every in-game under is perilous because these teams are starting, forget the 35, sometimes the 40-yard line. Forget that. We saw multiple occasions this week where a team barely had any time left on the clock at the end of the first half of the game, and they were able to convert it into points. The Cowboys scored a touchdown. Todd and I hit ridiculous in-game halftime, first half overs on this. They scored they weren't even trying to score a touchdown. They were trying to set up Brandon Aubrey for a field goal.
Isn't it so too easy to score?
It is too
easy. The Packers had 7 seconds. 7 seconds. They started deep in their own territory. They made one play. Haversick kicked a 61-yard field goal. Just 7 seconds. It doesn't matter anymore.
And Aubrey's not. They did a study. Aubrey is not human. He's an AI robot that Elon Musk made. Because when he goes for a 61-yard field goal, it doesn't just like get there and go in. It goes right down the middle like an extra point. It's embarrassing.
You can tell he's AI because he has 4 legs.
That's right. I always make this comparison. In 1982, Mark Mosley of the Washington Redskins won the NFL MVP by kicking a then unheard of record, 27 field goals in a row. I think it was 21 during the 82 season, which, by the way, was a Super Bowl season in Washington. You know how many 50-plus field goals he made? 0. Do you know how many 40 to 49-yard field goals he made? 5. NFL MVP. Nothing has changed more in the sport of football.
Boy, did he look good in a uniform.
The last of the straight-ons.
Speaking of records, I think that's a new MegaPod record. 20 minutes in, and we got our first Redskins Super Bowl championship reference. This is the longest it's ever taken. So, wow, we've really hit our
and to
new mark
think,
here.
I have Aaron here, who, again, along with the 2007 Patriots, the 91 Skins are the greatest team of all time. DVOA going back to 1978. I didn't even reference that Super Bowl champion. Speaking of that, before we get to the best bets, DVOA, Aaron, I'm running interference. I want to get this out of the way because it might come up later. And I want you to be able to have the first word on this. Week 7 DVOA numbers. The Washington Redskins, Commanders, pardon me. The Washington Commanders, you have 7th overall, and you have the Dallas Cowboys 9th. Please explain what it is in the formula that came up with this.
The 3 Washington wins are dominant. Over 70% DVOA for each game. But the losses are bad. They're the most inconsistent team in the league by far this year. And so the system adds all the plays together and really likes those 3 wins, and the losses don't outweigh them. I mean, if you ask me how I think, especially when you consider the injuries, and Daniels is now out for this week.
Yes, he is.
It's definitely going to be Mariota. They're nowhere near that good. But I think they're better than people give them credit for because they've been so inconsistent. They could shock you. Like even Mariota played reasonably well in his couple of starts. That they're going to go back and forth. Like it wouldn't shock me if they hung surprisingly close to Kansas City. If they won, it would shock me.
So is that a glitch? Is that a glitch in the modeling, Aaron, or is that just there's nothing you can do about it? The modeling is the modeling.
I mean, the only way to undo the glitch would be to somehow figure out a way to weight every game the same, no matter how many plays you have in that game. And it's going to end up being a little bit of a glitch too with the Raiders, because the Raiders ran so few plays that it doesn't drag their DVOA down that much because there were only 30 plays.
I see.
But for the most part, this works better. Just counting up all the
Drake
plays
May for Jaden Daniels,
going game by game works better.
Would you trade Drake May for Jaden Daniels as a Patriot fan?
No, because I think that there's evidence now that Jaden Daniels, there may be injury. He may be more likely to get injured than Drake May is.
I think the 3 of us can agree, and we can get to the picks.
I'm glad you said 3. No, and the
I
Cowboys.
Me, you, and Todd agree with
the Cowboys are the big mover because they crushed Washington, I guess, this week in DVOA.
Yeah, they did. That was Washington's worst game of the year. I mean, there's no question.
The 3 Washington wins, by the way: Giants, Chargers, Raiders. The 3 wins that they look good in.
So they're even more dominant than you think because they're being dragged down by opponent adjustments for playing 3. Even the Chargers, by the way, below average teams.
Yeah. And that Raiders, we'll leave it at this. That Raiders stat that they ran 30 plays in this game against the Chiefs. And by the way, it's even worse than that, Aaron, because their first 2 drives in the first quarter, they ran 5 plays each. So really they ran 20 plays in the second, third, and fourth quarters combined. That is impossible.
And a lot of the QB ratings had Geno Smith above other quarterbacks this week, probably for the same glitch in their models.
Mine did too. Yeah. Some of that is a volume thing, and some of it is there weren't turnovers.
It's incredible.
He didn't turn the ball over. I think they had a fumble by someone else, and that was it. He didn't throw picks.
And they couldn't get the Chiefs off the field, obviously.
Right.
All right, to the best bets. Best bets where, again, Todd has the best record. This on the heels of, remember, a couple weeks ago, he didn't know that a quarterback wasn't playing. And last week, he didn't know that there was going to be rain in Cleveland, and he went over, and he won that one too.
No, I didn't win it. I'm second. I didn't win it.
Oh no, you got
the game did go over the late number, but the early number I got screwed
dropped as the weather got worse.
Yeah, I almost made it. I almost made it the 39.5. It was right there to
Tua
go over.
Tried for you. Tua kept
I knew
34.5
was going to go over. It was just there was just no way that was staying under. We're not going to let everyone just walk up and cash tickets. It's ridiculous.
All right, before we start with
Thursday night,
does anybody have a Thursday night play?
No.
No, I don't have one.
Chargers, Minnesota. I bet the Chargers at -2.5 on guessing lines on Monday. Todd, I'm not sure if you're aware of this show I do on Monday. It's called
Great
Guessing
show.
Lines.
It's fantastic.
And I immediately bet the Chargers -2.5. It's 3.5 everywhere, so it's not a bet for me anymore. So that's off the board.
They're saying Wentz now, but it wouldn't be a shock if Wentz was hurt and they ended up with this Bosmer kid as the quarterback. The Vikings are a little bit of a mess.
Will, are you worried about McCarthy, man? Speaking of injuries, what the hell?
Not going well.
Yeah.
Not going well. Mistakes might have been made. Yeah. Okay, Aaron, we start with you. Your first of 3 best bets of the week are, or is?
Cowboys +3.5 at the Broncos.
Is it 3.5 consensus, guys, right now?
Yes, because it's one of mine, too, and I want the hook.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3.5 is pretty widely available.
Yeah,
I bet the Broncos -3 earlier in the week, so I can't.
I think it moved slightly.
Yeah.
We'll give them the 3.5.
Cowboys are 9th in DVOA. Broncos are 14th. And also, I talk a lot about offense being more consistent and predictive than defense. The Cowboys obviously are built around offense, and Denver is built around defense. So it's more likely that the Cowboys offense will stay awesome than that the Broncos defense will stay awesome. So
why is that, Aaron? Why is offense more predictive?
We honestly don't know the answer to why that is. Part of it is just the quarterback, one player having so much of a role in how offense works. But otherwise, we're not sure why it is that defense is less consistent. It just is.
That's super interesting. So you like the Cowboys here. Now, do you think the Cowboys are really better than the Broncos, or you really feel like they really are better than them?
I think that going forward, given that we know more that the offense, we know more about offense than defense, the Cowboys are probably better going forward than the Broncos, because the Cowboys, that 30th ranked defense, they may get their act together and be 22nd. Whereas their offense is top 5 and is probably going to stay top 5. And I was wrong about it in the preseason. I got duped by Prescott having kind of a bad 5 or 6 games last year. And he's back to being the Prescott from 2 years ago. That offense, especially with both Lamb and Pickens in the lineup, is playing really, really well. Shout out to Schottenheimer, of all people.
Of all people. Todd, what's your first?
My first pick. Can I just pass on this week? I'd like to go pass. I would like to take an over and O, because this week is impossible. I know we always say the weeks are impossible, but this is really absurd. I had to really force myself. But it's funny because you brought up the thing about the Commanders, and I said to myself, okay, I've watched football for a long time, National Football League. I've watched teams win 31-0 in one of the most dominant performances in the history of the National Football League. Like we just talked about, Chiefs Raiders. And now the same Chiefs team that 2 weeks ago lost to the Jaguars, albeit they should have won that game. Now they're 13. What is the line now? 12.5?
I thought it's 12.5.
12.5. So now you're telling me, I understand Mariota is the quarterback. I like Mariota. I mean, he's obviously not as good as Daniels, but I've always liked Mariota. He can move the ball. And, I'm not pleased with the Commanders' defense at all. But now you're going to ask the Chiefs to come out and blow a team out 2 weeks in a row? This is the National Football League. Okay, you want to give 8 billion digit to the Raiders. Now you're giving it to the Commanders? This is the same Commanders team a week or two ago. If they wouldn't have fumbled the ball, they would have won that Bears game easily. Or not easily, but they would have won that game.
And this is the Chiefs, who like to take their foot off the gas
exactly
when they're playing an inferior opponent to save plays in the playoffs.
Exactly. And so you're telling me now that they'll be up 18 and the Commanders can't get a little backdoor action and they lose by 11? Give me the Commies plus 12.5. I mean, it gets to a point where you're being extremely disrespectful. And if there's one thing I don't appreciate, it is disrespect. And the Commies deserve a little more respect than 12.5. I mean, that's like what, I don't even know what to say. That's just too many.
We don't have clarity on this now, but Gilly, what's the situation with the receivers? Are they getting the receivers back? Because I think you're getting to a point where it's cluster injuries, not only with the same position, but just the same, element of a team with the passing game of no Daniels, no receivers. Are those guys in, out, or somewhere in between? I know on Wednesday it's tough.
I think Debo's probably in, is I believe the word. But I don't know what, they say good news for both McLaurin and Debo on chances to play versus the week. So Terry might be there too. So trending well for both is the answer.
But it's not like we didn't see them move the ball last week without those guys. They moved the ball. I mean, it wasn't great.
Offense is not the Washington Commanders' problem, boys and girls. It is defense. Their defense is so bad. And Marshawn Lattimore has been a disaster. I'm curious where
it's really not that bad.
What's that?
It's really, their defense is not that bad. They had one really bad game last week. I have them 18th. And yes, Marshawn Lattimore is totally cooked. I absolutely agree.
He's so bad. Oh,
but they're
God.
better. They're better than, they're mediocre. They're not terrible. They're mediocre.
What's interesting is I used to get flack for saying that last year. These guys would give me flack. I'd be like, they're actually kind of sneaky mediocre. And these guys would kill me for that. I don't feel like they're sneaky mediocre this year.
They're better against the run than the pass too, which, if you can pass on them, and Kansas City will, can pass on them.
You know what the biggest difference is to me, just again, watching just as a fan, whatever they're doing defensively this year versus last year in terms of the structure, they're not letting Frankie Louvu go crazy. And last year,
they may have to now that Dorrance Armstrong is out for the year.
Well, that would be monster because he created so much havoc last year on defense, and you haven't seen that yet this year. So I hope that's a difference. Willie, where are you going with that?
I'm on Denver. I'm on Dallas too. The discrepancy in DVOA. I'll throw in another stat. Bo Nix for his career now, small sample, but 2-8 when his team allows 20 plus points. Dallas is probably going to get to 20 plus points here. So I think we're at the point now where Nix, and there's a lot of quarterbacks like this. Penix, Bryce Young, some of these younger quarterbacks, it's like 1 week you like them, 1 week you don't. I think Penix might be bottom 10 quarterback in the league. I haven't liked what I've seen from him. I know, Todd, you're not a big fan, so I'll take the 3.5 here. If you're down 10 late, there's the option with the back door with a really elite Dallas offense. So give me Dallas plus 3.5 here for my first pick.
By the way, speaking of that Denver game, when they threw that ridiculous pass interference at the end there, when the Giants got it in the goal line, and then Sean Payton went crazy and got a unsportsmanlike conduct, and they moved the ball half the distance to the one. Could he have just continued to get more and more penalties, and they would have moved it from now the one to the half, and then the half to the quarter, and then the quarter to the eighth? What would have happened? And I'm not even joking about this.
It's not like you can give the Giants points. You just move the ball closer to the line.
Right, so you might as well did that to Philly in the title game last year. They kept trying to jump the snap on the tush push, and eventually, the ref is like, "I had enough of this nonsense. If you do it again, it's a touchdown."
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
a good point.
Someone on Twitter, and I don't buy this, but someone on Twitter said Peyton was playing chess. He purposely got it so they would move it closer, so that the Giants would score sooner. That was his thinking.
Yeah, but then Dart wouldn't have had to dive.
The Giants shouldn't have scored also, right? They should have knelt and they should have done, Anyway.
Maybe not kneel where you go backwards, but maybe try to manipulate it. If Steve Fezzik were a quarterback, he would do a quarterback sneak and he would go down at like the half-yard line or the quarter-yard line.
But it's too risky. I feel you can only do that on a field goal. You can't do it when you need
really
a touchdown.
only do that on a field goal.
It's too risky.
I know.
Yeah, that's true. They needed 7. They didn't need 3. So, yeah. But the thinking was, if you move them closer, they're that much more tempted to just punch it in. I understand.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it, but I understand. All right, I get 2, right?
Yep.
I am. So again, the Chargers number's gone and my Denver -3 is gone. So I'm not betting those.
Where'd you do those? Where'd you say those?
On guessing lines. Thank you. For asking.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking. This is play number 1. What is the number? Well, I'm going to take the Niners against the Texans. A popular road dog doesn't usually work out, and I think the Niners might be popular. Maybe they're not.
I believe it's 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5 is what I'm seeing as well. I actually bet this on the money line. My thing with Houston is, by the way, short week for Houston on this. My thing with Houston is this: their defense is great. There's no question about that. I just don't know how they score points in this league with that offensive line. And by the way, I don't know if Nico Collins is a go either for this one. And look, whatever Robert Saleh did to coach up those backups the other night was incredible. Part of that was I thought Houston I thought the opponent for San Francisco had a bad game plan, Atlanta as well. And I don't think Zach Robinson got as much flack as he should have. But that's a separate story for a separate day. I just think the Niners figure it out. They coach up that team no matter who's playing, despite all the injuries. And Mac Jones has been objectively great. I just like the Niners. I think they're a better football team. The worst
Objectively
unit
good.
Good
objectively,
more than great.
What did I say?
Great.
Mac Jones? I'm going to go objectively very good. How about we split the difference? I don't buy that he's just good. He's been objectively very good.
According to Aaron's DVOA, he's been good, not great. But go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Maybe great compared to expectations, but he has been very good, I think. He's
been very good. Come on. Listen, I just think the Texans offense is the worst unit on the field. I'm going with the Niners. That's the play there.
You go again.
Play number 2. What's the Atlanta Falcons?
Before you go with 2, Aaron, what is San Francisco on DVOA?
San Francisco right now.
Why don't you get a subscription, you cheap bastard?
Yeah, you cheap
18th overall, 12th offense, 21st defense.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And I think the Niners are better than the Commanders, so that's very interesting. Sorry,
it's worth the subscription, Toddy. You pay $9.99 for Flow Sports so you can watch, East Tennessee State and college basketball.
If you know me, I have a rule against paying for subscription services. And what I do is I go out on my WhatsApp group and I say, "Does anybody have one of these subscriptions so I can use your subscription?"
You realize some of us make our money off subscription services, my friend.
What do you say, Aaron?
Some of us make our living with
he called you a cheap bastard, is what he said.
I have no problem with Aaron. Aaron's actually giving good value, but I'm not paying $9.99 a month for the Summit League to watch Omaha. I'm sorry, I'm not paying $9.99 a month to watch the Summit League. If you want to charge me 99 cents a month, I'll pay it. I'm not watching North Dakota Omaha for $9.99 a month. DVOA, I'm sure whatever the price is much more valuable than the Summit League. Thank you.
Todd, nothing makes Todd more angry than the Summit League having a package, as an exclusive package.
I mean, it's nasty, right?
Todd, how many of my personal Netflix, HBO type accounts are you using?
I actually only have one of yours. I just have your Amazon Prime.
You have one of mine too. You have my MLB network.
I have, yes. MLB. Willie, many thanks goes out to Willie, because I'm sorry. I hate these. It's not like I could pay for it. It's these goddamn Chazer owners that have to start 8 million different subscriptions because, wait, we don't have enough money. Our team's not worth $8 billion.
Remember when you could get all the stuff together? It was called cable.
Yeah.
Yes.
One price.
Aaron, tell us, what year was that? 1978.
Speaking as the only person left who has cable, I think it's great.
We're gonna have to pay for the Super Bowl at some point. Maybe it's not 5 years or 10 years. At some point, it's going to be
when
like
$5 or $10 in London, they're going to make everybody.
It's going to happen.
Oh, can't wait.
I'm not paying to park, and I'm not paying for streaming services. Okay, that's it.
The worst is when you go out and you dare to have sushi. And you order sashimi at Nobu and Todd is present, he will not stop bitching for 15 minutes.
No, I won't eat it just on principle. On principle. They give you a piece of food that is maybe 0.0004 ounces and it's $500. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I don't care how good this thing tastes. It's not worth it. You know what? Call me Fezzik. Just go ahead. Call me Fezzik. I'll be happy to take it.
You're even worse than Fezzik. You're my cousin Itzik. You're Yitzchak with that one.
I will defend Fezzik. Fezzik's not cheap. Fezzik is looking for the deal. Fezzik will pony up the money, but he will
pony up the money if he has the comps. If he
wants an angle shoot. There's got to be some sort of angle shooting in there. What I thought it was the beef Wagyu tacos at one of those places. That
Aaron, would you pay those ridiculous numbers for Nobu? I'm telling you, you can't imagine how little the amount of food you get.
I love sushi, but there are limits.
Wow, yeah, thank you.
At least
Gilly's bougie. Gilly's a bougie guy. You know him. He's bougie. You and Chris Felica.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, what's the Falcons number? We got to go. What's the Falcons number?
The Falcons number is
7.
I have him at 7.5. Is that
7?
What you guys
It's
have?
mostly 7.
Sounds like a 7.
7.
I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons.
It's mostly 7.5, by the way, but go ahead. We'll give you the 7.
Well, if it's mostly 7.5, then it's 7.5. But
Willie,
they're telling both of these guys it's 7.
Oh, it was one 15 minutes ago, but I'm seeing more 7.5.
Oh, okay. So you're conspiring with Gilly. I see. Go ahead.
Well, it's one of my picks too. It's why.
You know what? I'm still taking the 7. I'm still going to lay the 7.5 against the Dolphins. By the way, Darren Waller heading to IR now for the Dolphins, adding injury to insult already. Listen, there is a interesting home road split thing that is happening with Michael Penix that is sort of under the radar right now, but will be common narrative here in a couple weeks. Really good with those on the carpet with the Pitts and Londons and Algiers and Bijans of the world. Not so good when they're not. Penix's performance is really shaping up that way so far. I have the Dolphins for fewest wins. I think they are internally fucked. I don't know how Mike Macdonald hasn't been fired, regardless of how you feel about him. It's amazing to me that he hasn't to this point. Not that I wish for him to be, but I just think they have so many problems. Tua throwing so many picks last week against the Browns. Falcons defense, sneaky good. I'm curious where DVOA has the defense. I'll lay the 7.5 with the Falcons here.
Their defense was number 1 until last week. Now it's 6th.
Number 1 till last week.
I was going to say about
where does
Penix,
Miami? Does DVOA have a category internally fucked?
Another carpet. Is it a home road thing or is it a indoors thing? What happens when they play in New Orleans?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's probably the carpet. It's probably the indoor thing because it's a faster track. I would agree with that. Willie?
Miami 23rd. I'm checking DVOA. Miami's 23rd on the internally fucked metric, which dates back to.
I noticed when you didn't attack Gill for not having the.
Are you kidding? They're 38th out of 32 teams on vibes. It's not even a question. I mean, before the season, we were talking about, oh yeah, the projections have Miami as a kind of average team, but oh, the vibes are so bad. I know I'm supposed to be the stats guy, but my God, it seems like they're all sniping at each other, and it just seems like the whole thing is going to psychologically collapse, and then that's what has happened.
It's really true. And by the way that the schedule breaks down, they may not win till after their bye, which is like 6 weeks from now. Then
by the way, the Capri Pants indicator is the key factor. If I said to you, what would the coach look like of a team that is completely as Aaron said very aptly, psychologically destructing, I would give you that guy with his menu and his Capri Pants.
I'll just point out, by the way, as soon as they do fire him, there's going to be a real battle for which team brings him on as an offensive consultant, because there will be a lot of desire to have him come to other teams, not as a head coach.
We'll ask your question about Mike Macdonald.
Yeah, I was thinking that out loud when I was doing my podcast Monday. Will he or will he not ever be a head coach in the NFL again?
Mike McDaniel, what would you set the odds?
What's the yes/no line?
I feel like his personality lends itself to no. I like him. I mean, he's my kind of guy, but there's a reason I'm not a head coach in the NFL.
However, he's very young, and forever is a long time. So I think it's closer to a coin flip.
And somebody can look at him and say, hey, he had Tua. Tua was limited. He's still innovative offensively. So I think it's like a coin flip either way. I'm not sure. I never know what that stuff is. Guys get second chances all the time that I didn't expect them to.
You save money on dress pants. You save money on dress pants.
That's right. That's right. Lombardi used to call him the DJ. Remember that? That was one of his better nicknames. He does kind of look like a DJ.
Of course, he had a name for him.
Spinning up.
Whatever became of that guy, by the way? Whatever became of that guy, Lombardi?
He's at UNC. He's the GM at UNC.
Oh,
by the way, and I have no problem with how people dress. And me, I'm a substance guy, not a style guy. Always been. I'm a big fat chazer, but it's about being substantive. Look, Charlie Weiss didn't take any crap when he was 5,000 pounds because the Patriots were moving the ball. But as soon as you don't move the ball and you wear capri pants, then you got a problem.
One last thing on this very quickly, because I know we have to move along. If I watched a lot of that Browns Dolphins game because I had all those passing props under and parlayed and whatever, which worked out well. Every time they threw an interception, they would cut to him and he wouldn't look up at the camera. He had his eyes glued on the play sheet like the whole game. It was almost like he knew it was on. It was a very strange dynamic, that whole thing. But this is one of my picks too. Atlanta. I think we'll run the ball down their throat. Toddy, you love Bijan Robinson in these props. This might be a day, man. I would love a fat number on will he break like the single game rushing record, because I could see him going for 200 yards in this game. I don't know how Miami stops him. Atlanta, like you guys said, has been good at home in the dome off of a loss here. I think they roll here, so I'll lay it with Atlanta.
Toddy.
That was one of the ones that I was like considering at the way end, and then I just decided not to do it after all, just because the Dolphins got so obliterated last week, and I hate playing against a team that got absolutely obliterated the week before. But I'm going to take for my second. I'm just going to say, don't reinvent the wheel. what do you have for Houston and Niners on the total?
41.5.
Okay, I'm going to go under 41.5 here. Gilly made a great point. My model says Houston can't score the football. My model says that the offensive line is as bad an offensive line as I've ever seen. I can't believe how bad they are on offense. It's like pulling teeth to get in the end zone. I mean, that team just cannot score the ball. And of course they got a great defense. So they're like a perfect type of, undercutting team. And the Niners defense, wow, with all the guys injured, boy, did they play well. But that was, like you said, Gilly, that was a great game plan to knock down all those tough guys on Atlanta and hold them to 10 points. I thought that was outstanding with all their injuries. And so you're telling me now they can't hold down Houston to 13 points? They're going to hold Houston to 13 points. Houston's not going to score anything. So if you have a final of 27-13, by my math, that's only 40. I'll take under 41.5, 27-13.
I have consensus 41, by the way.
Wait a second. I see 41.5 and Aaron has 41.5. Will, what do you have?
Yeah. I'm showing here. This is on Vegas
Yes,
Insider.
but that was an hour ago.
I'm showing 40. I'm showing 40. I'm showing 41 teetering on 40.5. 41 really? Is everywhere. MGM, Willie, Caesars.
Yeah, I'm seeing it's pretty split for me. Whatever you guys decide, I'm okay with.
You guys make the call.
Dude, I see a 40.5 at DraftKings, so you got to go 41 consensus.
41. Let's pull the NFL and let's try to keep this game close here. Let's give Todd the hard lines. Let's give me a break and let's try to make this a close game.
We got to bring Gilly back into the fold.
Willie flag on Wishnev, 15-yard penalty for looking at somebody the wrong way.
I'll take Willie for the fourth quarter.
Aaron, you got your final two picks here back to back. What do you got?
All right. First of all, Buccaneers -4 at Saints. Saints are terrible. What's amazing is the Saints are terrible, even though Spencer Rattler, from a visual perspective, scouting perspective, is a lot better than he was last year and looks like a real NFL starting quarterback. Everything around him that is not Chris Olave is terrible. Offensive line is terrible, can't run the ball, defense is bad. Buccaneers are 16th in DVOA. There's been a lot of close games that have led to that 5-2 record. I still think they're a lot better than the Saints. So Bucks -4.
DVOA only has the Titans worse than the Saints.
Yeah.
Overall DVOA. And
then counterintuitive. I tend to get very counterintuitive when it comes to totals. I'm going the opposite of Todd. I'm going with Texans 49ers over 41.
Wow.
Oppo Todd.
The Texans are actually 24th in offensive DVOA, not 32nd. I know their offensive line, they were like, let's take these bad offensive linemen no one wants and replace them with a bunch of other bad offensive linemen no one wants. And that'll improve things. And it turns out that didn't work. But the 49ers are 12th. The game is indoors. I tend to go counterintuitive on over-unders. So I'm going over 41 on Texans 49ers.
I like it. Oppo of Todd.
By the way, I kind of agree with Aaron. That's why I thought that 34.5 in Cleveland last week was ridiculous. There was no way that game was.
Yeah, that was really, really low.
You can accidentally go over 34.5 just by nothing, just weird crap happening. So I thought that I typically also like to do that. And Aaron, actually, my favorite in-game NFL method is if you have a game that's lined very low and you see early on both teams moving the ball, you're going to get one of those wacko, opposite scenarios on the total. And you go over, like Tennessee this week was playing the Patriots. Tennessee was moving the ball early. I'm like, I got to go over in this game, because the Patriots are going to move the ball. So if the Tennessee can.
Yeah, but are we being a little
the sack fumble?
Yeah, are we being a little disingenuous about the Browns and Dolphins, though? I mean, was there 2 pick sixes or one?
2 pick sixes. One of them got returned for a touchdown. The other got returned
for the
weird
stuff, though. That's the kind of stuff that leads to games going over really low numbers.
Yeah. Todd,
okay, my third pick, because I'm not doing the Falcons. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go. What do you have for the Bears and the Ravens side in total?
The total is, I'm going to say 50.
Whoa,
And
wait a second. 50. I see 49. I see 48. I see 49 and a half. It's really 50?
I see 50 and a halves, and I see 49 and a halves, and then I see 50s.
So how about 50?
That's what I said.
Okay, fine. I'll take Bears 50. Bears over 50. Bears against the Ravens. When we last checked in with our club in Baltimore, we had quarterbacks that were not Lamar Jackson, quarterbacks I would never vote for in MVP rather than Lamar Jackson, guys that couldn't do anything at the quarterback position. And what did we get from what'd you say?
Houston scored on them.
Like well, that's the defense. We'll get to the defense in a minute. I'm talking about their offense. Their offense was doing absolutely nothing because they didn't have Lamar at quarterback. Now you're going to get Lamar back at quarterback. You're going to get points from Baltimore. And then I buried the lead. The main reason is, of course, the Baltimore Ravens defense is horrendous. Yeah. As Aaron has said, Houston got 44. The Rams only got 17, but could have been a lot more. They were inside the 10 a bunch of times. Everybody scores on this team. This defense is atrocious. And sure, maybe Harbaugh got them a little bit better, but they're still not good. Also, I have Mr. Johnson working with Mr. Caleb, and all of a sudden, I'm seeing, I talked about this last week, the Bears are looking pretty decent on offense to me. I mean, they looked very good against the Saints. Now you're going to say, well, the Saints stink. Okay, but still, they did look good. They looked good against the Commanders. They're moving the football, the Bears. And so now you get the Bears get to play against that crap-ass defense of the Ravens. They're going to be able to put up points. I think the Ravens are now going to, with Lamar back, they're going to be like, we have to reestablish that we're this offensive juggernaut, and we're going to get our points. 27-24 is over 50. Give me the over 50 in the Bears-Ravens game.
Is he 100% back, by the way, Lamar? I know he didn't practice Monday, which was a surprise. Lamar seems to think he's in, but
how is the line -6? It has to be Lamar, right?
They're expecting him to be back. It's not 100%, but they're expecting him to be back.
Yeah, I agree with Aaron. Willie?
I'll go quick here. I don't love a third, but I will take Green Bay. What are we, -3 against Pittsburgh?
Oh, no. Are we matched on 2, Will? Me and you?
Before Jens do, can I give you a little warning? My friend Sean's going down there to the game. Kenny's going too. They're going to listen to Renegade at the end of the third quarter. Their record in that scenario, while not paying for parking, is 5-0. That's all I'll say. Now, Jens can say whatever Jens want to do.
All right, Gilly, I'll go quick because I know we're up against the time. I just think you got the better offense and the better defense with Green Bay. I'm okay laying the 3. They haven't really looked like an elite team really since week 1 or week 2. That was a great performance against Detroit. Played really well against Washington. They've been underwhelming since. I just feel like this is a week where they get back on track. Pitt, not good defensively. I gave out the stat last week. Pittsburgh has been really lucky recovering fumbles. So I'll lay the 3 here with Green Bay.
Yeah. I'm with you. Green Bay -3. They look great weeks 1 and 2 against Detroit and Washington. They definitely do need another impressive win because loss at Cleveland, a tie at Dallas, and the wins against Cincinnati and Arizona were kind of meh. So I think they feel that too. I think this is they'll revert to form here in this game. And the Steelers, obviously they lost to Seattle, they lost to Cincinnati. The Jets they beat by 2 points. The Pats, the Vikes, they were all 1-score games. They did beat Cleveland by 14. I don't buy into the revenge spot thing with Aaron Rodgers. I just think the Packers are a better football team. And I think the Packers defense has yet to show just how amazing they are. I think it only gets better from here. I like the Packers. I think they're a better football team left and right than the Steelers.
Wait, Gilly, I'm hearing something. Wait, it's from Atlanta. 28-20 after the Miami Dolphins have scored with 8 seconds to play. The question, Jim, is, are they going to go for the 2 to go 14-8-6, or are they going to just kick the extra point here, Jim? Well, I'll tell you, a lot of these NFL teams are going for 2 now, down 8 to try to get it to 6, so I think they'll probably do. Wait a second, they're sending the extra point team on in order to cover the 7.5. Then the kick is up and good. Oh my God, Gilly and Willie get screwed, even though a guy with capri pants can't do the new math. Unbelievable.
He's purple. Despite what Todd says, from a Survivor perspective, if I were still alive in Survivor, I would choose my Survivor play from one of three teams. Obviously, the Colts, if you still have it available, 14-point favorites, hosting the Titans. But the other two, for Survivor strategical purposes, the Falcons are one of them. The Falcons against the Dolphins. I think this is probably the best spot to use them. And the other one is the Cincinnati Bengals, if you can stomach that. I think the Bengals, you're not going to feel comfortable. Listen, you're not going to feel comfortable if you want to get all the way through Survivor. But if you're in Circa Survivor and you have to save the Eagles and you have to save the Chiefs, I think those are the three teams from which I pick Survivor. Bengals, obviously, hosting the Jets.
Teasers. We still have to do teasers.
Teaser of the week. Aaron, your favorite 2-leg 6-point teaser is?
Bills -1.5 at Panthers. And 49ers +7.5 at Texans.
Ooh, I like that second one.
I feel like the Bills are better than the Panthers, but they've been kind of disappointing, and I don't know if they're going to be as much better than the Panthers as we think they should be. So I would imagine they could win by 3 or 4. And I feel like the Texans' offense is not good enough to beat the 49ers by more than a touchdown. Like, it's just like, even if the defense holds them down and the offense manages to score, I can't imagine they're going to win by more than 7. So 49ers +7.5.
Bryce Young missing this game for the Panthers. Andy Dalton,
yes, Andy Dalton.
Rifle, going to start. Bill's leg is not a Stanford Wong teaser leg, ladies and gentlemen, because it is a road team. Teased down through the 7 and the 3.
Andy Dalton, by the way, I think Andy Dalton, I'm just going to say this, I think he's better than the other guy. That Young, I think.
It wouldn't be a shock.
Than the other guy.
It would be a shock.
Yes, that would not be a shock. Toddy,
Andy Dalton is a professional quarterback. Young cannot read the defense. I mean, yeah, he's been better, but Andy Dalton is much. I think he's better than Young. That's just my personal opinion. But anyways, I'm gonna go with. There's so many teaser legs this week. It's unbelievable.
There's a lot.
If we can't get it right this week, I'm gonna go with the Falcons -1.5. I just don't see the Miami, going in there and winning the game. That's crazy. And call me crazy. I'm going to go with the Eagles. What do you have? The Eagles 7.5. I'll take the Eagles down to 1.5. You know what? Here's the thing. Last week, my best bet was Eagles -1.5. And granted, they probably really didn't deserve to win as easily as they won. Maybe didn't even deserve to win, period. But I just cannot believe that the Eagles team is going to be willing to listen to Eagles sports talk radio in Philadelphia if they were to lose to the Giants twice in 3 weeks. I just cannot imagine it. I can't. There's just no way. They'll go crazy. They'll storm the stadium. So I think the Eagles, if you're ever going to get what would you say, Aaron?
It would be hell.
It would be hell, yeah. Those fans don't go for that. So I'm going to go Eagles -1.5, Falcons -1.5. But I do love Aaron's. I love Aaron's 49ers +7.5 pick too, because like you said, how is Houston going to win any game by margin?
Falcons Eagles is exactly mine as well.
Falcons Eagles for Willie.
I'll mix it up a little bit. I'll go Falcons too. I'd be shocked if they lost to Miami, as much as you can be shocked by anything in the NFL. And I'll throw in the Patriots, go from 7-1, just because Aaron said he'd rather have Drake May than Jaden Daniels, and that gives me a lot of comfort, Gilly.
You guys. I don't know if you guys know this about the other guy. He's in the NFC Championship last year and made every play imaginable. By the way, Scott Hansen.
Is that what you said?
Falcons and Patriots.
Scott Hansen on Red Zone loves Drake May in a way that goes beyond belief. Anything Drake May does. Oh my God. Have you seen this, Aaron, at all with him?
I haven't seen much. I haven't seen much of the Patriots on Red Zone because I tend to watch the Patriots games and then watch Red Zone the rest of the time.
Understood. He when Drake, I was telling this story on ANG this morning, when he beat a spy, Scott Hansen lost his mark. He's like, he is being spied and he beat the spy. I was like, bro, are you kidding me right now? Loves anything Drake May does. I like Drake May, but the slurping is like, it's too much. It's too much. They haven't beaten anybody.
Right now, the difference between them is the fear that maybe Daniels is a little injury prone.
Yeah, well, we have generational trauma in Washington over this. It's got RG3 vibes. I agree.
But based just on last year, it would easily be Daniels.
Absolutely. It's amazing, this kid. Okay, finally.
Boswell over 1.5 field goals.
There you go. Boswell over 1.5 field goals.
By the way, if there was ever a week for Boswell to get field goals, it's going to be this week. You know, Green Bay's defense is going to hold the Steelers out of the end zone. It's Boswell over 1.5. They'll make you
didn't go Bijan over, Toddy. Bijan against this crappy Miami defense.
Yeah, I know. I finally lost one on Bijan.
All right. Final two questions of each and every Megapod. First one, which of the big favorites is the most likely to lose outright? Here are your candidates. Falcons, 7.5-point favorites against the Dolphins. Bengals, 6.5-point favorites against the Jets. Patriots, 7-point favorites against the Browns. Eagles, 7.5-point favorites against the Giants. Bills, 7.5-point favorites on the road at Carolina. Baltimore, 6.5-point favorites hosting the Bears. And finally, the Colts, the big ones. Colts, 14-point favorites hosting the Titans and the Chiefs. Am I seeing this correctly? Did this move up more on the Chiefs? What's the number on the Chiefs? But anyway,
it's up to 12.5 or 13.
12.5 now against the Commanders. Which of those? I come to you from the future, Aaron. I said one of them lost outright. Who am I talking about?
Patriots. Not that I want it to happen. DVOA is not a big fan of the Patriots because the schedule's been so easy and because they were very dependent in a couple of those games on fourth down conversions that aren't necessarily predictive. And Cleveland has a great defense. They're fifth on defense. I mean, their offense sucks, but the Patriots defense is not as good as people think it is. That team is really all Drake May, man. It is, I mean, Drake May and his line and his receivers, it's all passing game.
Plus,
so
he can
if
beat
you
the
told
spy.
me one of those teams lost, I would be like, oh, I guess the Patriots lost.
Toddy?
I think he's 100% right about the Patriots defense. I think it stinks. I think the Bills could lose. I think Andy Red Rifle Dalton at home, this Panthers team's getting much better. And let's remember one thing. The Bills defense stinks. And defense doesn't travel. It might not even stay at home either. But the point is that defense is bad.
Every defense in the AFC East is 25th or worse in DVOA.
Wow.
All four.
Wow.
All four defenses.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm with Todd. I hate to agree with Todd again. It's the Bills for me. Most likely to lose outright. Willie?
I'll go Bengals just because they're still really bad on defense. And the Jets, maybe at some point they play Taylor. They get some turnovers. I know the turnover luck category has not been very favorable to them. So we got to have some more survivor carnage at some point. It can't just be this easy where everybody advances every single week outside of a couple patches of upset. So maybe the Jets pull a shocker.
Remember last year in Circa, historical carnage the first 5 weeks and then historical stagnation afterwards.
And DeMarcado, did you hear DeMarcado now is going to start for the Bengals? They traded him from the Cards to the Bengals in order to get the win for the Jets.
It's not true. Final question, Aaron. You live in a bizarre world. You have to bet a side on every one of these games, but you get one free pass. What's the game you want no part of on the spread?
On the Shots and Tanier NFL podcast, and if people want more of me, they should search YouTube for the Shots and Tanier NFL podcast, which is on Mondays and Thursdays. We do it live at 11 a.m. Eastern. We have a saying, don't bet on Falcons games. Never bet on Falcons games. Never bet for the Falcons. Never bet against the Falcons. You guys think everything is lined up, and it is. Everything is lined up for the Falcons to wallop the Dolphins. Whenever that happens with the Falcons, they do something stupid. And whenever it looks like they're going to lose, they pull a great game out. The Falcons never bet on the Falcons. Never bet on Falcons games.
I hate to say it, but I don't disagree with what you're saying. By the way, if everybody wants any of your stuff beyond the podcast, DVOA, where do they go, Aaron?
ftnfantasy.com. That is the main website, ftnfantasy.com.
Aaron does all of his stuff now at FTN Sports. So ftnfantasy.com is the website.
Well worth it, Toddy.
Well worth it, Toddy. Todd, which game do you want no part of?
I have Mrs. Hill Fantasy. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my God. What was that?
I thought to myself, should I make this joke or should I not make this joke? But Willie's such a great guy. I had to do it. I'm sorry, Willie. I apologize. That one was wrong. That was wrong. Yeah.
Which game, Todd?
Okay. What'd you say?
Which game do you want no part of?
I don't want any part of the Colts minus 14 against the Titans, because in my experience, you can't just keep walking up to the window and saying Colts and then they give you the money. And then you come back and you say Colts and then they give you the money. And then you just say Colts and they give you the money. You really can just walk up and say Colts, give you the money against the Titans. It couldn't look. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I have the same one, but technically you don't, when you go to the window, right? It's not you don't give the team name, you give the number, right? The rotation number, isn't how it still is?
I know.
I'm with you. 14's too many, but I mean, look, at some point you just got to say enough with the fucking Titans, So I pass on this game.
I said Bucks Saints, not because I don't think the
That's a
Bucks
good one.
are so much better than the Saints, because I do think they're better. But I just wonder, like the way they looked, Egbuka did not look anywhere near 100% the other night.
Yeah, and Godwin's not going to play.
What's that?
No, Bucky Irving's not going to play. Give Owen Wright the ball, right, Gilly?
Give Owen Wright. This is the Buccaneers' key, is to give Owen Wright the football. I
have Owen Wright on the props.
That's right. Owen Wright, once again, family. All right, guys, sorry for the quick exit. Aaron Schatz from FTN Sports. All his stuff again at ftnfantasy.com and the podcast with Mike Tanier, wherever you get your podcast. Thank you, Aaron, as always, for being on the show. We appreciate it, as always. And all his DVOA stuff, by the way, Googleable from not every week, but sometimes Googleable if you just put in the rankings as well. Not that I want people not buying your stuff. Todd Wishnev at T Wishnev.
The game table with offense and defense and the commentary article is free every week.
Oh, okay. The commentary article is free every week.
The commentary article is free every week.
Okay. That's a beautiful thing. So free analysis there from Aaron. Todd Wishnev at T Wishnev. You can follow his, how do they get your college basketball stuff, Todd?
Just send me a direct message. Guys, listen carefully. Send me a direct message at T Wishnev. Put WhatsApp on your phone and send your phone number. I'll be happy to put you on. What's funny is people will send me a message saying, what do I do to get on? It's very simple.
Okay.
Put WhatsApp on your phone and send me a direct message with your phone number. That's it.
That's it. Will Hill at Not The Will Hill. Should Have Bet More is the name of his podcast. What was the guest this week, Will?
I don't remember, but I would say text Todd and ask what to do. That will make me very happy. Chris the Bear Felica was on Wednesday.
There you go. All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much, all of you. And thank you for listening. Good luck with all your bets. Week 8 in the National Football League. I'm supposed to say this on the way out. Rate, review, and subscribe.
Oh, look who's waking up for a change.
Goodbye.